Well, hey there, guys. Today we're going to talk about how I store my firearm when I'm not carrying. So there's a lot of different things that I've figured that can be pretty hard to deal with, and that is going to be how to deal with a firearm if you're not carrying it. Well, obviously you take it off, you unchamber it, you put it away, or you put it in a safe somewhere, or you just have it sit there in the closet. Well, there's other things you can do, especially, well, let's say if you live alone or you live with family. So this video will hopefully give you a little bit of a perspective of what I do and what you can do as well. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's talk about the one small thing everybody we're going to explain is everybody has to deal with. Well, let's say they get home, they take their shoes off, they put their keys on the counter, and they want to just literally just chill because they've been busy, they just want to chill, essentially. Everybody wants to do that, right? Well, depending on what time of day you show up, this might occur during the night, this might occur whether you have a night shift, you have the rest of the day to yourself, or obviously the night. There's going to be some things that don't have to be as complicated as, well, the mainstream media likes to make it sound like. The router came at this time, you have to have a flashlight, as the gun tubers say, this and that. Well, yes, you do have to have a flashlight, don't get me wrong. I'm just exaggerating, but there's a lot of different things that, well, people are going to, well, exaggerate as well. They're going to say, well, you don't need all this accessories, or you do need all these accessories. So how do you balance all this, well, all this stuff out? Well, you need to deal with, well, the basics. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, if you're single and if you have a family, I'm going to show you the two different things you can simply do. My bed is the Glock 19, and it sits in its holster, chambered and everything. It's been like this ever since I went to the range or shot it at last. And I think it's totally appropriate to just leave it where it is. Even if I was to roll over and actually touch it, there is no possible way this could ever go off by itself unless we were to pull it out of the holster. Probably asking, isn't that unsafe? Well, if you do the research, Glocks technically have 2 to 3 safeties internally, not externally, because, well, yeah, safeties, they're too slow. But realistically, yes, it is totally, completely safe for those of you that don't really know a whole lot about firearms and haven't really studied over the years why it is totally incorrect to have a round in the chamber. You would be very much well off saying, well, I have a fire extinguisher, it's empty, but when there's a fire, I'll just fill it up. That's kind of what the similarities is when it comes to a firearm. You don't have time to wait when you have to defend yourself in, said, a couple milliseconds. Alright, so the next topic we're going to talk about is kids are curious. Now, when kids get curious, that means you have to hide your firearms, you have to put them in a safe location, meaning, well, safe. It's not very uncommon that kids get a hold of firearms, especially in this country. We really need to protect them as best as we can. So that tool is to protect them. We don't want that tool going against them. So what we need to do is we need to hide away that firearm and put it in a position where it's, whether it's in a biometric safe, which is, I don't really believe in those because they're kind of garbage when it comes to speed. You want something that is like a hidden desk with a built-in safe in it, sort of a hidden cupboard, some sort of thing. You can even build those yourselves or even buy them if you want to. I much rather have something like that if I was to have a family of my own, so that would be that. Now, I know what you're probably going to be saying is, well, what if the gun just goes off? Well, why do you even carry it in the first place? If you had a logical sense that it would just go off poof by itself. Well, realistically, if you actually buy the right, correct firearm that's not going to go off by itself, you should look up Grand Thumb, a drop test on all the firearms that do go off. The traditional guys out there that see the hammer fired, guns that go off. When you drop them, they do go off. Unfortunately, the 1911 guys out there that tend to, like speed over practicality and protection and whatnot. But anyways, off topic, I think it's very important to know where your muzzle is. Very, very safely. Make sure you do not have it pointed in the wrong direction or the wrong, holster. You got to get all the right. Essentially, just do all the research the best you can so you don't have any issues. So for the longest time, I would take my firearm and I would necessarily, keep it chambered for literally a month. Now, you're probably saying, well, isn't that kind of dangerous? Well, if you get used to the repetitive sort of motions over and over, it becomes extremely safe. Still, yet again, it's still a firearm, right? So first of all, what you got to do is you got to put yourself in a position where you're like, well, this is going to be becoming a habit. Well, simply I put it in the same place every single time. I point it in the same safe direction, the same safe direction every single time. Try to remember that, and you can be able to just put it on, take it out, put it on, take it off. With my EDC, it's essentially the wallet, the keys, everything else, all of the above stays in the exact same pockets for the majority of the time, because, there's times where I've forgotten my phone. There's times where I've forgotten only one time, one day where I was really late to work, and I was more worried about getting to work than I was putting on my stuff, right? Well, one day I was like, something doesn't feel right, and I went to nudge over, and I felt it wasn't there. I forgot to put it on. So make sure you have the right amount of repetitive when it comes to EDC. It's the normal stuff: keys, wallet, phone, lipstick, whatever it is. I mean, there's women watching this as well, so you have to kind of expand your mind when it comes to what actually is going to be realistic in your everyday carry stuff. So I actually had it really dusty by the time I went to clean it. So when you go on your calendar, make sure you have a day. I wrote on my calendar, approximately 2 days before, or a day or two before it's the end of the month, range day, the next day, clean your gun, right? Essentially, or even the same day, so you have a repetitive time where you can be able to update it, just like an oil change, just like a yearly doctor's appointment, or whatever it is to you that you find that is something that you have to kind of check up on. So if you found this helpful, leave a like, and we'll see you next time.